Sam from Visordown, and I'm here at the Triumph Factory Visitor Centre for the launch of the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride Limited Edition Triumph T120 Bonneville. And I'm here with Mark Hauer, who's going to tell us all about the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride and your partnership with Triumph.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Basically, the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride is an event for motorcyclists who own classic and modern classic motorcycles. It's really about showcasing a different side of motorcycling where ladies and gentlemen get dressed up in suits and dresses and ride these classic bikes for charities. So it's been 10 years since we partnered with Triumph Motorcycles, and so far we've raised over $37.5 million US for prostate cancer research and men's health.
I think that's amazing. So what if someone is a sports bike rider? Do you say absolutely no way, or?
There are other ways for sports bike riders to assist us. So typically a lot of the corner markers are typically sports bike riders and dirt bike riders. I think for us, when we first started, it was really about bringing together the community based around classic motorcycles, cafe races, bobbers, choppers and that stuff. And then essentially the point that we got to was we were limited by police in a lot of the cities that we were in. So for instance, the Sydney ride, we can only fit 800 people. The London ride, we can only fit 800 people. So we're sort of limited as to how many people can take part in the event. But if they can't take part in the event, they can, by all means, donate to the cause.
Yep.
Our partner is Movember. They can also sort of put their hand up, and we always need as much assistance as we can in regards to lead riders, tail markers, corner markers, and just helping hands on the day.
So you've been around for 12 years. Why did you start?
It was, funnily enough, it was, I saw a picture of Don Draper from Mad Men, and it was on the cover of GQ magazine, and he was wearing a classic suit, classic motorcycle, and I thought, what a great way to break the stereotype that, motorcyclists are, I guess, somewhat negative, by dressing up and going through the heart of each city globally, giving everyone a bit of a royal wave. And in that first year, we had 64 cities, 2,500 riders across 15 countries. And even the Sydney ride, I knew for a fact that if something special was happening when we saw people standing on top of their cars at the end of the ride filming it, because they'd just seen all these guys and girls riding these loud classic motorcycles to the heart of the city.
That's so cool. So it's 800 cities now?
So yeah, this year should be closer to 950 cities.
Wow.
100,000 riders across 105 countries.
So what's next?
I've got no idea. I mean, I think for us it's really difficult because, again, we're just limited in capacity because the ride takes part in the heart of the city. And the last thing we want to do is have a ride that takes part outside the city where you're not dressed appropriately. So we try and keep the speeds down as low as possible. I think for us, it's just trying to really motivate as many guys as possible to talk about their health, to look into prostate cancer and how to get checked for it in their local area. I think for us, the biggest wins that we can have is by focusing on men's health, not necessarily focusing on actually growing the ride itself.
Yeah, of course. So how have you found you've changed over the last 12 years? Who have you found that you've affected people?
Yeah, I think for us, it was, even in the second year was when we got our first phone call from a guy actually in the UK, in Kent. And he basically said, if it wasn't for you guys, I'd be dead. And he shared his story, and it was based around him being motivated to get a prostate check and finding that he did have prostate cancer, but getting to it early enough, that it wasn't an issue, that he didn't have to have any sort of, huge side effects in regards to how us men use our bodies. And from there, I mean, there's not a week that goes by that we don't get some sort of phone call, some sort of communication from guys, and sometimes even from their partners that basically say thank you because these guys have learned something. They've gone and got tested. They've gone and seeked help for any of the mental health issues that they've got. And so we've changed heaps. When you look at, would we still be motivated 12 years later if we didn't have those messages? I doubt it. I think coming from a guy like me, that sort of jumps from idea to idea, 12 years later, and I'm still just as passionate as I was 12 years ago.
Oh, excellent. So why Triumph?
For me, it was just the perfect synergy. I guess I liked classic motorcycles when I started it. Triumph made modern classic motorcycles, and the brand is a premium brand. And I guess there's, when you look at a Triumph motorcycle, it's clear the synergy between this motorcycle and people being dressed up in classic motorcycles, dressed in a classic way. So it was the perfect fit. And then, to fast forward 10 years and have them essentially come to me with the idea of creating something like this, I think for me that was mind-blowing because one, I didn't expect it, but two, also to be now a part of Triumph's history in regards to motorcycle model, is pretty cool.
It is pretty amazing. I will say that I feel incredibly Underdressed, massively underdressed today. Okay, so say someone wants to get involved, but they're a lone rider, they might be a bit shy. Is it just anyone can come along?
Yeah, it's jump on www.gentlemansride.com. So basically, that's got all the information there. And then if you're willing to volunteer, just send us an email. All the details are there. Again, it's not so much about, I guess we don't turn people away, but what we do expect is the support of other riders. At the end of the day, irrespective of what you ride, what these guys and girls are achieving at this event is supporting all men globally. The research that it funds supports all men globally. So, the last thing we want to do is upset anyone, but ultimately our goal is to not be something for everyone in regards to an event. Yes, we'll fund amazing research that supports all men globally, but it is an event based around classic style.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, but like you said, there are ways to get involved if you don't happen to ride a modern classic or you dress like me.
One of our highest fundraisers doesn't even ride motorbikes.
Oh, really?
He's just really passionate about the cause and absolutely loves what we do, and he supports the ride with his venue as a starting point. So yeah, there's always a way to get involved, but just shoot us an email.
No, I think it's great. So there's an excellent camaraderie.
Yeah.
So I'm now here with Miles Perkins for the Triumph brand. Tell us all about this iconic bike. So why the T120?
Well, I think this is a perfect bike for the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. That's about modern classics and vintage style motorcycles. The Bonneville T120, I think you could safely say, is the most iconic modern classic name in motorcycling. A 1959 Bonneville T120 was pretty much the British superbike of its day. And in the since this was brought back to life in the early 2000s, I think this has gone on to pretty much kick off that modern classic category. So for me, this is the DGR bike, really. This is the metaphor for that.
And so tell us about the absolutely beautiful tuxedo design, dressed for dinner.
Dressed for dinner, that's right. So inspired by the DGR's dapper dress style, this has got the black and white of a tuxedo, and then we've got the gold detailing. This is hand-painted gold detailing on the side panels, and the official DGR branding that's on there. And that, I think, again, that's like your gold pocket watch or maybe your gold tie pin.
Absolutely beautiful, and yes, genuinely hand-painted stripes, which I can't quite get over because mine would be all over the place. But yes, so for those that might not know about the bike, so because they've been living under a rock, why is the Bonneville so iconic? Why is it such a good bike? And there's been so many iterations.
So certainly, as you say, so many iterations. I think this is a very long-standing motorcycle name. I think it's been around long enough to, if you gave a child a crayon and said draw a bike, they'd probably draw you a Bonneville. Started life in 1959. Called the T120 at that time because 120 was what Triumph would have liked to have thought its top speed was. That was inspired by the land speed record bikes of the 1950s, so it got its name Bonneville from that. And in the modern era, I think this is that perfect balance of a 1200cc engine, so it's got some good poke, sounds great, it's got that British twin sound, 270-degree crank. In regards to, you can feel those firing impulses for the engine, high torque in terms of performance, but a really easy handling bike. So very confidence inspiring, nice low seat height. So it's got the go, but it looks beautiful, very unintimidating ride. But if you want to give it some, it'll shift.
It does. It looks incredible. We know that it's going to ride incredibly well. If someone wanted to get their hands on it, how would they go about buying it? Because this is a limited edition.
That's right. So there's 250 of these. Actually, there's only 249 because the number 1, 001, is going to be the award for the highest fundraiser for this year's DGR, the 2023 DGR. But if you want to get one of the other 249, get down your dealers, put your deposit on, and get your name down for one. And what you get is a certificate of authenticity with the bike's individual number on it, as well as the VIN, hand signed by Mark Harra from the DGR, and Triumph CEO Nick Bull.
No, that is absolutely amazing. So there's only 249. So get yourself down to your dealer or start raising money and join us on the 21st of May.
That's right.
That's correct. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.